NBA Finals continue this Saturday night. Game 5 back in San Antonio. And the big question becomes, do the Spurs show up or do they roll over after blowing a monumental lead in Game 4? I've got the answer for you. Let's talk about side, total, player props, how to make some money in Game 5 for Saturday night. Coming up free for you in this video right here, right now. Hi, this is Steve Merril, WagerTalk.com, right back here on Wager Talk TV. Never in doubt. The Knicks down 29 with 9.5 minutes to go in the third. Never in doubt. What a crazy comeback. In fact, at that point in the third quarter, the in-game odds gave the Knicks for a 0.04% chance of winning. That means 4 out of 1,000 times would a team come back down 29 with 9.5 minutes to go. They had a 4 in 1,000 chance, and they found a way to do it. Of course, they were down 22 with 7.5 minutes to go in the fourth quarter against the Cavaliers in Game 1 of the Eastern Conference Finals. Went on to sweep that series. So yes, I think they'll carry the momentum into Game 5 here. But the bigger question is, do the Spurs roll over or do they get back on track? I've told you in all my videos in this series, I think they're the better team still. And I think we were proven right in Game 3 and Game 4. They had a 29-point lead in the third quarter. And let's put this in perspective. So far this postseason, the Knicks have played 18 playoff games, I believe. They've been held to their playoff low in 3 of the 4 Spurs games. In fact, in 13 of the other 14 games, they scored 108 or more. They've scored 107, 105, and 105 in 3 of these 4 games so far. They only scored below 107 once in the other 14 playoff games in the round prior to this. Or 14, 6, 4, and 4. So the Knicks do match up well here. And when Wemby is on the court, they dominate defensively. In fact, after the first couple games, Knicks were shooting only 36% from the field. They were shooting almost 56% when Wemby wasn't in the paint and on the court. So yes, San Antonio has matchup edges, and we saw that. So the question really becomes, did the Knicks make the comeback, or did the Spurs blow the big lead and choke? I personally feel like the Spurs choke. And here, once again, it's a chicken and egg scenario. It's a half full, half empty. Depends on how you look at it. By the way, drop your thoughts below in the comments. Did the Knicks come back, or did the Spurs blow it? And look, you can make arguments for both ways. I think the Spurs blew it personally. They took some bad shots. And when you have a 29-point lead in the second half, bad coaching, by the way, Mitch Johnson. We called out Mazzola with the Celtics the last couple postseasons when they've blown 20-point leads and still chucking up threes. At that point, you don't play your normal game. You slow things down, and you don't take bad shots, and you sure don't turn the ball over. And boy, did De'Aaron Fox hurt the Spurs as well in Game 4. And let's talk about that. Fox was out a lot during the playoffs with the ankle injury. He came back the previous round, did not look good. I thought it actually hurt them in Games 3 against Oklahoma City. That was the only time they lost back-to-back games in the Western Conference Finals. And then, of course, they went, 4-1 over the last 5 games against the Thunder. Fox hasn't looked good at times in this series. He had the big, Game 2 or 3? I think it was Game 3. He had the 20 points a couple games back. But turnovers, bad mistakes again in this game. Will he be limited? I think he should be. Maybe we place the De'Aaron Fox props under for that reason here in Game 5. But I don't know. Are they going to sit their $50 million paycheck on the bench? If they do, I think Dylan Harper continues to step up. He's been excellent off the bench in this series. We'll talk more about player props in a moment. My concern with the side in this game is if San Antonio has anything left. That was a devastating loss. In fact, let's talk about some more numbers for you. I told you it was a 4 in 1,000 chance that the Knicks overcame that 29-point lead. Here's what's even crazier. How many NBA games have been played? Tens of thousands throughout history. The Spurs became the first team ever to score 76 more or points or more in the first half. They had 76, and then they had only 29 in the second half. No team in NBA history, not just the playoffs, regular season as well. No game in NBA history, regular season or postseason, has a team scored 76 or more in the first half and failed to score at least 30 in the second half. Never's happened before. That's how bad the Spurs were, and another reason why I think they choked. I don't think the Knicks' defense became that great all of a sudden. And even with that, they need a bizarre end, and then Obi tips in the rebound from basically the three-point line. Real game betting. The Spurs were down 2-1. I liked them in Game 3. I told you, everybody in the comments below, brother, sister, stepbrother, everybody loved the Knicks in Game 3. And I thought it would actually be a distraction returning home to that atmosphere, and it was. They got beat. It was close at the end, but the Spurs outplayed them for the most part. In fact, San Antonio's held a double-digit lead in all 4 first quarters. They've led by double digits in the first quarter in all 4 games and lost 3 of the 4. Pretty bad there again. Once again, coaching, perhaps. Young team, yes. 22-year-old Wembanyama, 21-year-old Castle, 20-year-old Harper. Half their top 6 are below 22. So, yeah, I do think the experience factor is starting to kick in a bit. And that's another reason you wonder about how they come out in this game. Are they focused? And that's my big concern. But if they're focused, I still think they hold matchup edges. I think they're the better overall team still, and they definitely hold matchup edges. I talked earlier about how the Knicks have been held to 107 points or less in 3 of these 4 playoff games in the finals. They scored 108 or more in 13 of their other 14 playoff games. That shows the matchup edge. The Knicks have to hit threes to win these games, and that's something they didn't do in the first half. And by the way, the Spurs were lights out from 3, and that's why it was a misleading blowout at halftime, 76-49. And we knew they were going to come back down to earth. But there again, you don't really have to score much more when you have that big of a lead. You just have to not let the Knicks score from 3. And the Knicks, by the way, did finish with 15 threes. The Spurs had 17, but they were incredible in the first half. They had 7 different players hit a three-pointer in the first half of that game. But overall, the Knicks still outshot the Spurs 47-40% from three-point range. Actually had the points in the paint and the fast break edge. Another reason I feel like it was a collapse by San Antonio, not necessarily a comeback by the Knicks. The Spurs led 97% of the minutes in Game 4. The Knicks led for 2% of the game. 97% of the game they led, and they find a way to lose. So look, if they roll over and die, it's over. I think it could be. But I'll take my chance with still who I think is the better team. I personally feel like there will be a Game 6 back in New York on Tuesday night. So here again, if you think the Spurs are going to win this game, as I think they will, then most likely they cover. We're never going to play a team catching only a few baskets to try to stay within the spread. And currently that is the situation here. And by the way, the Game 2 line off a loss was 6.5. Now it's only 5, 5.5. I see both 5 and 5.5s out there to shop around. If you're going to play it, I would lay it with the Spurs minus the 5 to 5.5 in Game 5. But hey, look, I get it. Who knows if they show up or not? And if they roll over and die, Knicks could win this outright. You also got to wonder, I don't think the Knicks feel this way, but I'm sure their fans do. Do their fans really want them to win Game 5 on Saturday night? If you're a New York Knicks fan, well, I guess if you have tickets, let me phrase it that way. If you're one of the lucky ones who have a ticket, Spike Lee, for example, apparently turned down $500,000 for his first row seat. Good for him, by the way. I'm not a huge Spike Lee fan. He annoys me at times, but he's been loyal. I give it to that. Since he was a teenager up in the nosebleed seats, working his way down to front row seats. That's what makes America great. Being able to go from nosebleed seats to front row seats. You got to respect that. And he did, do it as a entrepreneur. Love to see that. And he did not give up the seat for $500,000. He got the seat. I appreciate that. But you got to figure, does he really want the Knicks to win Game 5? They should win this series even if they lose Game 5. They still only have to win 1 of 2. If you have a ticket to Game 6 on Tuesday, do you really even want the Knicks to win Game 5? Now, I don't know if the players feel that way, but they probably wouldn't mind clinching at home either. So there could be a little bit of a letdown by the Knicks as well. And as I said earlier, your initial reaction is, they carry that momentum into the first quarter. The Spurs have dominated the first quarter in each game. They've had double-digit leads in all 4 games so far in the first quarter. They just haven't held on to 3 of those 4. Actually, they haven't held on to any of the 4. In Game 3, the first game in New York the other night, they were down at halftime after being up double digits at the end of the first. So the second quarter has really hurt them at times in this series. We'll see if they can keep it together. I would lean San Antonio minus the 5, 5.5 if you're going to play this one in game number 5. If you do like the Knicks, by the way, I would put some on the money line because here again, I don't want to play a team hoping they can just stay within the spread. And what's crazy is San Antonio covered Game 4. I gave it to you in the video the other night. Didn't really feel like they covered, but they were catching 1.5 to 2 points, even 2.5 at the time I did the video. So it was a loss. It felt like a point spread loss, but the Spurs actually still covered from start to finish in that game, which is also incredible, yet they did not win it. Knicks, by the way, about plus 170, 175 on the money line. So if you do think they close it out, I would play a money line instead of point spread or at least split it up. I'd personally rather have the Spurs in this one. I do think they force a Game 6, which means they probably win by margin as well. Now, you can hedge it a little bit with the over. And I do think there's a case to be made for the over in this game. The first game the other night, Game 4, the over is looking pretty good, especially with the red-hot shooting from the Spurs. And if they'd had not just 29 points in the second half, it would have got up and over easy. The in-game line early second half was like 228, and then it faltered all the way down to 216, 213 where it landed. Of course, failed by about a basket and a half to get up and over. With the result like that and the fatigue factor for both teams, the emotional letdown, that could show more on the defensive side of the ball. Now, I know it is an elimination game for San Antonio, but games 2, 3, 4, and 5 are usually the highest scoring in the series. And I've talked a lot about that here in the previews. So we could see an over here, even though we've only had 1 over in this series out of 4 games. The pace of play at times has been pretty fast. The regular season meetings were very fast. That Cup game back in mid-December, 237 points over 200 shot attempts. And then the rematch in San Antonio New Year's Eve had 266 points in regulation. It's been lower scoring since. But here again, if the Spurs do roll over, which they might, yeah, the side play would be in trouble, but you definitely probably cash the over then. My concern with the over, as I said, is that the Knicks have been held to 107 or less in 3 of their 4 games. So the Spurs have had their numbers. So here again, I think if the Spurs win, it's going to be with the defense. So San Antonio -5, 5.5, or over 216.5, which was the game total for the last game. This one is priced currently at about 216.5, maybe 216 in some spots. I like the over. I like the Spurs. And I do think they hedge each other a little bit. If San Antonio doesn't show up, then it's going to probably be a playground track meet, and the game will get up and over the total. All right, let's look at some player props. A quick reminder, by the way, if we do have a Game 6 video, it'll be on Tuesday night, so make sure you click subscribe and you click the bell for an instant alert. And also, I'm giving you free baseball plays throughout the week here in videos as well. So even though basketball is winding down, don't forget about baseball and, of course, football right around the corner. Going to put that, 16-3 prime record on the line. I know you all are excited for Thursday Night Football in a few months, and so am I. So make sure you click subscribe and you click the bell for instant alerts. And if you're liking these free play videos, all I truly ask is to take 2 seconds and click the thumbs up. If you like the fact that I've given you every NBA playoff game this postseason, including all the games of the finals, quick thumbs up like is all I ask. And if you're on your mobile device, you can click the hype button as well. It is so much fun. Like and hype on your mobile device as well. And comment below, what are your thoughts on the side or total? How do you want to attack this game? Do you think the Spurs play better? Do they show up? They've played well at times, but do they show up and still have that energy? And do you agree that the Spurs are the better team? I know 99% of you are going to say, Steve, you're crazy. They're down 3-1. They're not the better team. I think matchup-wise, they have some edges, but the youth factor, has the youth factor been the problem? Comment below. I read the comments. I reply back. I reply back. I'm wearing a black shirt, but I reply back. You get the point. I do read the comments. I love the support here on Wager Talk TV. All right, before I lose my voice from all these playoff videos, let's look at some quick player props. I hinted earlier that I thought De'Aaron Fox really hurt the Spurs in game number 4 the other night. I think they have to make an adjustment there. Whether they do or not, we'll see. I think the coaching factor, Mitchell, I don't think he did a good job allowing your team. And yes, that is your team blowing a 29-point lead with 9 minutes to go in the third quarter. I hold him accountable. De'Aaron Fox had 18 points. He was only 6 for 16 shooting. 4 turnovers, led the team. Maybe he's not limited, but Castle's been really good. Dylan Harper's been really good off the bench. 32 minutes again, this time 21 points. What did he have? I think like 18 points in 21 minutes in the prior game. He's been just fantastic. And keep thinking he's only 20 years old, a true rookie. Man, how good is this team going to be with Castle and Harper in the backcourt and Wemby in the middle for the next several years? I said they're going to win 3 of the next 5 NBA championships, and that's probably without them winning one this year. And I still think they'll win 3 of the next 5. And that's another reason I think they're still alive in this series. By the way, he had 13 points in Game 3, and that's why I liked his over in Game 4, because he'd taken 18 shot attempts. He was 8 for 12 shooting. I still think he'll get some good looks here in game number 5 as well after games 3 and 4 on the road. I think Fox maybe under, Harper over. Castle over. He only had 7 shot attempts, but he had a huge game 3. I think he gets back on track. Champagne's only had 5 points, but he took 9 shot attempts. He was only 1 for 7 from 3. So do we dare play maybe him over? He had 12 points in game 3 and only had 5 points in game 4. The guards are tricky because Vassell, Castle, Fox, Harper, they all kind of trade off, and one guy's going to have a bigger game than others. Wemby, what do we do with him? 13 rebounds, 24 points in game number 4. He was 9 for 25 shooting. He was 11 for 18 in game 3 with 32 points. I do think he bounces back. He's a warrior. He's a competitor with the season on the line and back at home after a bad shooting game. I think Wemby bounces back. I look for him to get to that 30-point range. Points over, maybe rebounds, assist over if you want to play the triple, but I think his points definitely get over in game number 5 on Saturday night. As far as the Knicks, we've talked a lot about this. I think they have to continue to take 3-point shots. Anunoby had 9 3-point attempts in game 4. He, of course, had a great game in game number 3 with 7 threes, and he was 9 for 13 from the field. He's now had 28 points and had 33 points in 41 minutes. Do we dare fade him? I don't think so. It was legit. He had 15 field goal attempts. In fact, Cat, Hart, and Bridges combined only had 17 attempts. So yes, they maybe look to limit him, but who's going to limit him? You've got Wemby on maybe Towns or Wemby on Anunoby or Wemby down low, but I think Anunoby's going to continue to take the threes. Yes, maybe he regresses, but the 3-point attempts for Anunoby is going to be there as he's taken 16 of them in the last 2 games. and I think he can play other Knicks to take threes as well. We didn't see as much of it from Hart and like Karl-Anthony Towns. They really looked to shut down Hart. After Hart had the big game 3, they limited him in game 4, and he's been limited, by the way, in 3 of the 4 games. So I'd be careful with him. Mikal Bridges, I thought, would bounce back a little bit after a bad game 3. He was just 1 for 5. He was 7 points, 3 for 9 in game number 4. So, yeah, it looks obvious, but Anunoby's been a monster the last 2 games. I don't think anything necessarily changes there on that front. Jalen Brunson, 36 points, 12 for 25 shooting. He had 32 in game 3, 36 in game 4. Could he regress? We're never looking to fade Brunson, but on the road after 2 monster home games, maybe a Brunson under, do we dare? But here again, the concern is if San Antonio shows up or not. If not, I think it's going to be on the defensive side, and that's why I do like the over in the game as a little bit of a hedge to the Spurs side. So really not looking to play many guys under on either team. I'd rather have Wemby over, maybe Anunoby over again. And Karl-Anthony Towns, after 2 big games in San Antonio, he's had just 11 and 13 the last 2 games. And of course, he played pretty well in the first 2 games on the road, and I still think he has some matchup edges. Needs to take more threes. He only had like 1 3-point attempt. So Karl-Anthony Towns' 3-point attempt shots over and points over could also be worth a look in game number 5 on Saturday night. Hey, there you go. Deep dive for you into what could be the final NBA game of the season. I think there'll be a game 6 back in New York, and boy, wouldn't that be exciting. And I'm not going to say the league wants that, but hey, the league probably wants that. They'd love to have another game next week, and they'd love to see if the Knicks are going to clinch it to do it in New York. What are your thoughts? Drop them in the comments below. Side, total player props. How are you attacking game 5 on Saturday night? Include some analysis if you have time, so you, of course, can all learn and earn and win together here on Wager Talk TV. If you're liking these videos, all I ask is a quick thumbs up like. If you're on your mobile device, click the hype button as well. It's so appreciated. And click subscribe and click the bell here for instant alerts so you'll know when the next NBA video is available for Game 6, if there is a Game 6, asterisk. But of course, there'll be baseball videos throughout the summer and football videos around the corner. So click subscribe and click the bell for all the free videos I do every day here on Wager Talk TV. Now, if you want my personal best bets each and every night, they're posted on my page. And right now, baseball is the bread and butter bankroll builder. The 4 Bs, the bread and butter bankroll builder, is baseball because it's 2 to 3 plays on a daily basis. What a great way to make some money this summer and get ready for football this fall. If you want to get all my baseball best bets every day, they're on my page, Steve Merril, wagertalk.com. And of course, a free bonus play. The last cut, just a bit outside from being a best bet, goes up as a free play every day with analysis. So go get the free play right now for baseball along with the strong best bets. And while you're there, check out some special offers. The rest of the baseball season for just over $3 a day. That's a great summer special. The MLB summer special, only 1 week remaining on this one, works out to about $3 a day for the rest of baseball. That's like $1 a play for the rest of this summer's baseball through the World Series this fall. Or if you want to try a little smaller package, how about a 6-day sampler? Normally 3 days is $69. Nope, 6 days for $69, dude. Buy 3, get 3 is still available, and they're stackable, which means you can buy multiple 3+3 specials and then use them week after week. Even after the special offer expires, you can save them. You can stack them. Once again, buy 3, get 3 free. It's a 6-day special for the price of 3. Right now, no promo code needed. So whether you want the rest of baseball for about $1 a play or the 6-day all sports for just $69, check out the special offers on my page right now along with that daily free play, Steve Merril, wagertalk.com. And hey, get there quicker with shortcut wt.buzz/SM. Don't forget to follow me on social media on X and Instagram at Steve Merril, 2 R's, 1 L, Merril, at Steve Merril on X and Instagram. And stay tuned here to Wager Talk TV because you know there's more free play videos coming up next.